So I'm back in the garden now that we've not got a monsoon of water coming down like last night. That's why I was unable to do some work in the pond. But I just wanted to talk about installing these Kottnikai tank connectors. Just show you that closer up. So basically I'm going to be fitting some of these on the pond, and I want to talk about the two ways that these can be installed. So the basic rule of thumb is you basically would have it in two parts. So you take your screws off. It normally comes with 4 stainless steel screws, like so. Let me just put that down. So it comes in two parts. You've got your front plate and your back plate. So when you put these on, basically you put a bit of silicone around that, and then you put your liner on top, and then you put your faceplate on top of the liner and then screw in. Now that's one method, and that's the method shown by the Pond Digger, quite a popular YouTuber. However, there is another school of thought on how you put these on, and that is basically same thing. You put silicone on the back plate, but when you put that on top of the liner, you put a bead of silicone around that as well. So basically you've got silicone on there, your piece of liner goes on there, and obviously the silicone attaches to the liner and gives you a good bond. And then you take your faceplate, you put some silicone on the back of that, and you put that on top of the liner, and obviously it sticks to the top of the liner, and then you screw it in. And then when you see it start to ooze out the silicone, that's when a good time is to not over tighten. My suggestion is you don't use an electric screwdriver, because you could strip out the actual threads, which are just plastic. So basically what I would recommend is you screw it in a bit at a time on each of the 4 holes. Obviously there's some bigger tank connectors that have more screws. I think there's one that has about 6 or 7 screws, but the principle is the same. You just want to screw it a little bit, but do not over tighten, because you will strip the heads of the threads on these tank connectors. I did that on my previous pond that I did. It's not a big deal, just put more silicone on, but it's something to be mindful that you don't want to strip those plastic threads when you're screwing your stainless steel screws into it. So I just wanted to talk about that briefly. That's more or less how you put them on, and then once you've got it on, you just cut out the hole and then let it set for 24 hours, and then after 24 hours you can attach pipe to it if you want to. So that's essentially how you put these tank connectors on. So without further ado, let's get started on doing these in the pond. So I've just cut a hole, as you can see the pipe behind it. Done the same over here, over here, and over here. So what I need to do next is just put some silicone on the plate, and then screw in the top plate. So I've got these top plates prepared here. So fortunately I've realised more or less at what orientation it's going to be. So I'm just going to put a pen mark on there so I know where the screws will go, and then I'll screw that on with silicone on the plate there, and silicone on the back of that. So that's the first one done. So as long as you put plenty of silicone on the inside and on the top plate, you should be okay in terms of getting a good seal. All you've got to do a bit of tidying up, you know, cut the rest of that out, you know, just smear that with your finger around just to make it a good seal. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I've just finished the tank connectors, as you can see. It can be a challenge trying to figure out where the screws go into the slots in the actual tank connectors. So let me just show you a closer look. I've also put a bit of silicone over the actual screws as well, and that's how it looks. Moving on to the next one. Those are the returns. This is where the pump runs through the actual pond. I had a bit of a problem with this one. I don't know, for whatever reason, screws refused to go in, so I've actually overlaid it with lots of silicone going round, just in case there's a hole somewhere. And I've just put a bit of solvent weld pipe. I'll put a boot on there and have some flexi hose running to the actual retro bottom drain there. And here is the return. Again, what I've done is I've cleaned on the inside, so if I do put some solvent weld pipe, it's got something to attach to, and then a bit of a bead that goes round the outer edge there, just to make sure it's going to be watertight. So that's the overflow.